Dear students, I welcome you all on this YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss first unit of network theory, that is network theorems. So first let us see what are the topics to be studied in this chapter. First we will discuss the basics of network theorem, that means we will discuss basics of electrical circuits. Then we will discuss superposition theorem, then Thevenin's theorem, then Norton's theorem, then maximum power transfer theorem, then reciprocity theorem, and at last we will discuss compensation theorem and Millman's theorem. Each and every topic of this chapter is equally important for GATE examination, and you can always expect 4 to 5 marks of questions from this chapter based on these different theorems and basics of electrical circuits. So today in this lecture we will discuss the basics of electrical circuits. So let's start from resistance. See, this is the resistance R. Now if you measure the resistance from the given terminals, so this is the terminals A and B, and if you measure the resistance, this resistance is R ohm from looking from this terminal. Now I am making one change in the circuit, and then you will see what is the value of resistance. R. Now if someone asks you to find the resistance across AB terminal, so you see the resistance of this path is R, but here it is short circuited, means resistance 0, R equal to 0. So here you will see R is equal to 0 ohm. R equivalent will be equal to 0 ohm. Clear? Next, now we are having a voltage source with resistance. We are having a voltage source with resistance. See, this is the voltage source V. This is resistance R1, and here it is resistance R2. So two resistors are connected in series with this voltage source. Now somebody is asking you to find the value of voltage across R2. That means suppose this voltage is V0. So now they are asking you to find the value of V0. So what will be the value of V0? You will have to apply potential divider rule. You will have to apply potential divider rule. So if you apply potential divider rule, you will have to write voltage across R2, that is VR2. It will be equal to, you know that the branch having more resistance, there will be more voltage drop. Clear? So here VR2 will be equal to V into the resistance of this branch, that is R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear? VR2 will be equal to V into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Now if someone is asking you VR1, so you will write it is equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear? So this is the value of VR1. So this is the potential divider rule. Clear? Now if you are having three resistors, suppose somebody is giving you three resistors are there, R1, R2, R3. Clear? Now if you have to find the voltage across R3 resistor, so you will write R3 equal to VR3 will be equal to V into R3 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Clear? V into R3 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Now somebody is saying you this is the voltage V0, and you have to write the expression for the voltage V0. That means voltage across the both resistors R2 and R3. So here you see the total resistance will be R2 plus R3. So you write V naught is equal to V into total resistance across this terminal, that is R2 plus R3 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3. R1 plus R2 plus R3. So this will be the value of V naught. Clear? Next we are having a current source. So let us take a current source I. Now suppose two branches are connected in parallel. Its resistance is R1, its resistance is R2. Suppose through R1 current flowing is I1 and through R2 current flowing is I2. So now if you have to find the value of I2, so what you will have to do? You will have to apply current divider rule. You will have to apply current divider rule. So what is current divider rule? What happens to the current? See these two paths. The path having more resistance, current will be less. Path having less resistance, current will be more. Clear? So here if you have to find the current I2, that means flowing through resistance R2, so you will write I2 equal to I, that is total current, into, here you will have to write, at the numerator you will have to write R1 divided by R1 plus R2. R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Similarly, if you have to write I1, so you will write I into, now it will be R2 divided by R1 plus R2. R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Clear? So this is current divider rule. Next, if you are having three resistors connected in parallel. Suppose you are having three resistors connected in parallel. This resistor is R3, the current is I3. This resistor R3 and current is I3. Now if somebody is asking you to find the value of I3, so what will be value of I3? Again here you see, you write at the numerator, you write the product of other two resistors, that means I into R1 R2 divided by, at the denominator it will be sum of products, that means R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R3 R1. Clear? This will be the value of I3. This will be the value of I3. Clear? Now if you have to write I2, so you write I2 is equal to I into, now for I2 at the numerator it will be R1 R3, at the denominator will be same, that means R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R3 into R1. Clear? This will be the value of I2. Similarly, you can write the value of I1 also from this circuit. Clear? Next, actually you already know these concepts, but just for the sake of revision. Next, star delta network. Next, star delta network. See, if you are having a network like this one, then this network is called star connection, RA, RB, RC. This is called star connection. Clear? Now if you are having the network like this one, RAC, RAB, RBC, then this connection is called delta connection. This connection is called delta connection. Now somebody is asking you to convert the delta network into star. So here I am giving you a very easy trick. So with the help of trick, you can always remember how to convert delta to star and star to delta. So let us see delta to star. How to convert delta to star? So here this network is in delta. So now let us make a star network. See, this network is now in star. Here RA, RB and RC. You have to convert this delta into a star network. So here you have to remember only one trick. Trick is, remember here, delta to star, D to S. That means, remember, divide by sum. Divide by sum. Divide by sum. To see, RAB, RAC, RBC is already given. RAB, RBC, RAC, it is, these three are given. Now you have to find RA. You have to find RA. So here you see, divide by sum. That means at denominator it will be sum of all the three resistances. That means RAB plus RBC plus RCA. Clear? Now at the numerator, see, you are finding RA. You are finding RA. For RA at the numerator, there will be the product of two resistances, because ultimately the unit of the whole term will be ohm. So here you have taken resistance. So here it will be a square of resistance. So for a square of resistance at the numerator, that means there will be the product of any two resistors. Now you have to see. You have to find RA. So for RA, you can see that RA is connected to RAC, RA is connected to RAB, but RA is not associated with RBC. So here at the numerator, you will have to write RAC into RAB. At the numerator, you will have to write RAC into RAB. So this is the expression for RA. This is the expression for RA. Similarly, you have to write RB. So write RB will be equal to, again denominator will be sum RAB plus RBC plus RCA. At the numerator for RB, you see that these two resistors are associated with RB. So here it will be RAB into RBC. RAB into RBC. Clear? Similarly, you can write the value for RC. So RC will be equal to RC. So RC will be equal to RBC into RCA divided by RAB plus RBC plus RCA. Clear? RCA. So this is delta to star. Now you have to convert star to delta. That means suppose RA, RB and RC are given to you. You have to find RAB, RBC and RAC. So let us write star to delta. Let us see how to write star to delta. First I am giving you trick. S to D. S to D. So D ko you can write D like as P. That means SOP means sum of products. SOP, that means sum of products. So here the trick is divide by sum. Here the trick is sum of products. So now you have to write, you know that RA, RB and RC are given. RC are given. You have to find RAB, RBC and RCA. Suppose you have to find RAB. So RAB, what will you write? Now they are saying sum of products. That is sum of products of all the resistors. So if you are writing sum of products, automatically it will come in numerator. It will come in numerator because sum of products, the unit will be ohm squared. So it will come in numerator. So sum of products. What will be the sum of products? Here we write RA RB plus RB RC plus RC RA. Clear? At the denominator, you'll have to divide by one resistance. You'll have to divide by one resistance. So you are writing the expression for RAB. That means you are writing the expression for this one. For this one, you see that three resistors are there: RA, RB, and RC. Now you have to choose that by which resistance it will be divided. By which resistance this expression will be divided. Here it is RA, RB, and RC. So when it comes to division, you see that out of these three resistance, you have to pick up single resistance for this one. So here you can see RA and RB is linked with RAB, but RC is not linked with RAB. So here it will be divided by RC. Here it will be divided by RC. That means you have to write for RAB, you will divide by RC. Similarly, next RBC. For RBC, at the numerator you will simply write sum of product divided by here RBC. RBC, that means it is connected to RB and RC directly. So here it will be divided by RA. Similarly, RCA. So for RCA, you see for RCA it is directly connected to RA and RC. So here you will have to divide by RB. SOP divided by RB. SOP divided by RB. Clear? So this is all about the star delta conversion. I have already explained a very beautiful trick, that is divide by some delta to star to delta, it will be sum of product. So with the help of these formulas, these tricks, you can easily solve the questions asked in GATE examinations based on star delta conversion. Clear? Next. Next come to next see. Sometimes you will be given like this one, V1, V2. You will have to write V0, that means output voltage. Next, this is circuit 1. Second circuit, you will see like this one. This is V0, V1, V2. Clear? Next, you will be given two current sources in series. You will be given two current sources, I1 and I2 in series. The terminal will be shorted. You will be asked to find the current I. Clear? This is circuit B, this is circuit C, and at last you will see that there will be two current sources in parallel. You will be asked to find the current flowing through this branch I. This current is I1, this current is I2. This is figure D. Now we have to see how to solve these circuits. First circuit. You see that two ideal voltage sources are connected in series, minus plus, minus plus. So here it will be the sum of two voltages. So at the output it will be sum of two voltages. So you can write V0 equal to V1 plus V2. You will directly write V0 is equal to V1 plus V2. Next come to this circuit. This circuit is very important. B and C. That's why I am explaining here at the basic of circuit theory. Here V1 and V2 are connected in parallel. These two are ideal sources. You have to write the value of V0. C for V0. How to write the value of V0? So here you will have to check the conditions. First condition is if V1 is not equal to V2. First condition is if V1 is not equal to V2, then what will happen? if these two voltage sources are not equal. Suppose this is 10 volt, this is 5 volt. Now what will be the output? This is ideal voltage source. This voltage will say I'll maintain the voltage of 10 volt. This will say no, I am also ideal, I'll maintain the voltage of 5 volt. So what will happen? These two people are ideal, they are not going to compromise with anything. They will say no, I am not going to decrease my voltage. He will say give some voltage to me. He will say no, and he is also not ready to share the voltage with this one. So what will happen? This type of combination will not be possible. This type of combination not possible. Very important point. If these two voltages are not equal, then this combination is not possible. Second, if V1 is equal to V2, if these two voltages are equal, suppose this is also 5 volt, he will say 5 volt, he will also say 5 volt. Okay, total voltage will be 5 volt. So here it will be, suppose these two are equal to V, so V0 will be equal to V. Very important point. Next, come to this one. These two current sources are connected in series. Clear? So here again, first condition, if I1 is not equal to I2. If I1 is not equal to I2, what does it mean? Suppose this current is 5 ampere, this current is 10 ampere. Now what is the job of an ideal current source? The job of ideal current source is to maintain the constant current in the circuit. So now this is ideal source. This one will say I will maintain 10 ampere of current in this circuit. Clear? This one will say no, I am also ideal. Wait, I will maintain the current of 5 ampere in this circuit. Clear? So now what will happen? Again, this type of combination is not possible. This type of combination is not possible. So right here, combination not possible. Combination not possible. Second case, if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I. If I1 is equal to I2, suppose this current is I0. So if these two currents are equivalent, these are equal to I. अब दूसरा कंडीशन मिल रहा है, these two currents are equal. He will say 5 ampere. He will say okay, I'll also maintain 5 ampere. Don't worry. Here I0 will be equal to I. Here the value of I0 will be equal to I. I0 will be equal to I. Next come to case 4. Case 4. This circuit is sending you I1. This circuit is sending you I2. At this node apply Kirchhoff's current law. So here the current I will be the sum of these two currents. So I will be equal to I1 plus I2. I equal to I1 plus I2. So these four are very basic circuits, but these four are very important circuits. Must remember all these points. Next, let us discuss the types of sources. Next, let us discuss the type of sources. Let us discuss types of sources. Let us see sources. So you are having two types of sources. One is voltage, another one is current. One is voltage, another one is current. Clear? Next, again in voltage source, there will be two types of voltage sources. One is ideal, one is practical. Ideal and practical. Similarly here, there will be two types of current sources. ideal and practical. Ideal and practical. Clear? Ideal and practical. Next, again, in the case of ideal source and in the case of practical source, at both places there will be dependent source and independent source. So there will be dependent, there will be independent. Similarly here there will be dependent and there will be independent. Similarly here for ideal there will be two types of ideal source, dependent, another one is independent. Similarly here there will be dependent, there will be independent, there will be independent. So there are different types of sources. Now let's start with voltage source. Let's start with voltage source. Let's start with voltage source. And here we'll discuss first independent voltage source and there we'll discuss ideal voltage source. Ideal voltage source. What is the job of ideal voltage source? It maintains fixed voltage across the load. Across the load it maintains fixed voltage. That means this is V. So here output voltage will be V. Clear? Irrespective of any condition, it will maintain constant voltage. Suppose you are having the circuit like this. Suppose you are having the circuit like this. Five volt, 5 ohm, 5 volt. Suppose it is 10 volt. 5 ohm, 5 ohm, this is 2 ampere. Now somebody is asking you to find the value of output voltage V0. What will be the answer? You see, this is the pair of terminal. So now come to this point, again come to this point, you are not getting any resistance. That means the potential of this point is also V0. Suppose this is plus minus V0. This is the ground terminal. Here the potential is V0, here the potential is V0, here the potential is V0, here the potential will be V0, here the potential will be V0. That means at all the points potential will be V0 because there is no any resistance in series. So now you have to write the value of V0. So you see, whatever be the different elements are connected across this circuit, you see there is one independent voltage source. There is one independent voltage source connected in the circuit. Now because of this independent source, whatever be the voltage of resistances are there, there will be the total 10 volt, it will appear across the output. So your answer will be 10 volt. Irrespective of any condition, if there is an ideal independent source, then it will maintain 10 volt. Now you will say, sir, in what case it will not be 10 volt? See, if there was any resistor connected in series, if there was any resistor connected in series, clear? Suppose this is also 5 ohm. Now at this point potential is V0, 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 but there will be some potential drop. So at this point potential will be different. So here at this terminal potential is 10 volt, but here there will be some potential drop. So V0 will not be equal to 10 volt. V0 will not be equal to 10 volt. But yes, you will have to do the numerical calculation for calculating the value of V0, and sometimes it may be possible that having some different conditions the value may come 10 volt, but yes, because of this one only it will not be 10 volt. Clear? So this is ideal voltage source. This is ideal voltage source. Now see, you are having a practical voltage source. You are having a practical voltage source. So what is practical voltage source? For practical voltage source, you will see that there will be a resistance connected in series with the voltage source. There will be a resistance connected in series with the voltage source. Clear? This is the practical voltage source. Now at this condition, here you see that the circuit is open. That means no load is connected across this load terminal. So here what is the value of current? Current is 0. Current is 0. So now if here they are asking you the value of V0, so it will be simply V minus this voltage drop. There will be a voltage drop plus minus I into R will be the value of voltage drop. So R is given and I is 0. So here it will be V volt. V0 will be V volt. Now if there is a resistance connected across this terminal, suppose this resistance is RL, this resistance is RL. Now if you have to find the value of V0, so here V0 will be equal to V minus IR. V0 is equal to V minus IR. R is the internal resistance. R is known as internal resistance of the circuit. Clear? So this is all about practical voltage source. Next come to current source. What is the role of current source? It maintains constant current in the circuit. It maintains constant current in the circuit. So first discuss ideal current source. So ideal current source, see, this is the circuit I. So here what will the value of current? So here you see that what? Here this current is I. This is the symbol of current source. Current is I. But here if you write the current, it will be 0. This current is I. But here somebody is asking you to write I0. So I0 will be 0. Why? Because this is open circuited. So you can see that here the current source is deactivated. Here the current source is deactivated. Come to second condition. Now you are having the circuit like this one, current I. Now somebody is asking you to find I0. So I0 will be equal to what? I0 will be equal to I. I0 will be equal to I. Clear? I0 will be equal to I. I0 will be equal to I. That means you can say that current source is deactivated by open circuiting the terminal. In the case of voltage source, how do you deactivate voltage source? Deactivated by short circuit. Voltage source will be deactivated by short circuit and current source will be deactivated by open circuit. Clear? Current source will be deactivated by open circuit. Now you are having a practical current source. And see the role of ideal current source. Again, let us take one example. 5 volt, 5 ohm, 10 volt, 5 ohm, 5 ohm. This is 5 ampere. This is 5 ampere. Somebody is asking you to find the value of I naught. So what will be the value of I naught? See, there is one current source connected in this circuit. Its value is 5 ampere. So here, irrespective of any resistances or voltages, its value will be 5 ampere. Its value will be 5 ampere. Clear? Its value will be 5 ampere. Next, practical current source. Next is practical current source. What about the practical current source? See, practical current source means you are having a current source and there will be the internal resistance of current source connected in parallel. This is internal resistance, this is current source I. Clear? This is current source I. So this is the practical current source. This is the practical current source. Note one more point, that the value of internal resistance of practical voltage source is very small and the value of internal resistance of practical current source is very large. That means here you have a practical current source. Suppose its internal resistance is R1. If you are having a practical voltage source V, suppose this is R2. So you will write R2 very small and R1 very large. Why? Because what is the meaning of showing internal resistance? What is the meaning of showing internal resistance? Internal resistance means, suppose here the voltage is 10 volt, here the voltage is 10 volt. Now if you are connecting a load here, so there will be some voltage drop across this internal resistance. Practical means, ideal means what? 10 volt means yes, it will maintain 10 volt. Practical means what? No, 10 volt is not possible, there will be some voltage drop. So suppose here the voltage drop will be of 1 volt. So here the output will be 9 volt. Now here, suppose this is 10 ampere of current. Now what should happen? You are showing a practical current source. You are showing a practical current source. That means when 10 ampere current is coming out from this current source, so there will be some current in this branch. So what will be the current? It will be hardly 1 ampere. So maximum rest of the 9 ampere will current go through this one. Now here the current should be small. If current should be small, then resistance should be more. Resistance should be more. So this is the reason behind this. This is the reason behind this. Clear? So this is the practical current source. Clear? Now in the next lecture, I'll discuss about dependent source. Clear? So now you have to prepare a note, and the topics that have been taught in today's lecture all are very important. Very basic topics have been explained today, but all these topics are very important, because if you are going to solve the questions of network theory or network theorem, then you will have to play with the circuits. You will have to play with the circuits, and network theory is the very basic subject of electrical engineering. So you must have the sufficient knowledge of this subject. You must be able to play with all the circuits, all the network theorems should be in your knowledge, so that you can play with other subjects also. Because if you read power system, if you read power electronics, analog electronics, electrical machines, control systems, so everywhere there will be the applications of network theory. So you have to study accordingly.